to Durable Minds Radio.
Which question would you like to
My
answer?
roses. I do. Thank you. Get this. Yeah, she going her 40-year-old. Okay, come on. You posed us to the debate. We're not talking about nothing. Let's
Which
see.
one do you want to debate? You got to answer one. You got to pick one that we debate
Okay,
on.
come on. You pick one for me.
Okay, can broke men lead?
No, they cannot.
Why do you think that?
Because, well, no, can't lead me. Can't lead a girl like me. They can't. They probably can lead a broke girl. Yeah.
What's leadership to you?
Leadership is someone that can leadership is basically because for hold on, let me think. Actually, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you different.
Okay, come on.
Can a rich man lead?
Of course. A rich man can do anything that yes. She has to be feeling herself. Boy, I don't be feeling myself.
So you think just because he has money, he's a good leader?
No. But the money will overpower a lot of stuff. I mean, that's just how it is. I know it's you, AJ. I know your name. I know it's you.
You gotta understand the question here, right? We're talking about leadership here, right?
Yeah, we are talking about leadership. That's why I said, I mean, a broke man can lead. Yes, he can. But I said he cannot lead a girl like me.
Why is that?
Because anything broke is not going to be around me. A broke man will not be in my presence. So that's why. But
how would you know he's broke?
You can tell. I mean, what do you mean? How would I know somebody's broke?
Give me an example.
By somebody's conversation, you could tell that they're broke. That's something you could tell already. You just by conversation, you could tell somebody's broke. Yes.
Okay, give me a sentence or something that somebody would say that tells you they're broke.
I can't really give you one, but you have to know. Like, it's 2026. You can tell when someone's broke.
How old are you, biggest brat?
Why may you ask? Am I giving young?
You might be jumping the gun a little bit, yeah.
No, I just feel like that's just like me asking. So you can't tell if a woman's broke off conversation?
Not by conversing with her, no.
Really? So what can how do you know when somebody's broke? Like what comes to mind? Be like, oh, she's broke.
I don't think of broke ever when having a conversation, because when you're conversing with somebody, it's about understanding and not judging, right?
I mean, yeah.
So I'm trying to get to know the person. I'm trying to understand them. I'm not trying to judge them or size them up through conversation to read for, oh, is she broke? Is he broke? No, you're trying to get to know the individual to see if they're genuinely trying to get to know you, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yep.
Now, are you the richest girl in the world?
Oh, no. So
what makes you think a rich man wants you?
I mean, I don't know. We have to see. That's something that the rich man would tell you.
So let's go to question number 4. What makes a woman loyal?
What makes a woman loyal? Many things does.
Just name one.
By how she I don't know. I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Okay. You're beating me in the battle. You're beating me while please.
How old are you, Miss Brat? How old are you?
I'm 30.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're not 30. Why
are
you lying?
I'm not lying. I'm 30 years old.
What year was you born? What year were you born?
99. I'm 27.
Oh, now you're 27. I don't even think you're 27. You should be more mature if you're 27.
What you trying to say?
You should be able to answer these questions with more of a substance and thought process.
I haven't been through a lot in my life to answer these questions with more of a thought process. Maybe if I go through more, then I will be able to. But as of right now, I haven't really went through anything to answer these questions. So
you ain't been loyal to nobody?
No.
Damn, that's crazy.
It is.
It seems like you believe in the second one. Can loyalty be bought?
Everything can. Love can. Loyalty. Respect.
Then why? How come you don't have a man?
Who said I didn't have a man?
Oh, you got a man? How long you been in a relationship?
Who said I was in like a relationship?
So what do you call the man that's yours?
A trick.
Oh, you're a trick truster.
Am I? Did I say that?
Do you believe all men are tricks?
No.
Do you consider yourself a 304?
No.
So why are you dealing with tricks?
I'm not.
You trust them.
I don't.
Then what do you deal with them for?
I don't.
Aw, you trolling out, trolling. You don't know, you confused. At 27, you this confused?
Who's 27?
You just said you're 27.
I'm 16.
Oh yeah, she's trolling out, y'all. Y'all should, over there on her side, y'all shouldn't be gifting her. She can't even hold a conversation. Y'all giving her all these gifts and she can't even have a conversation of some substance. Come on now, y'all need to grow up over there. Y'all need to grow up over there. They need to grow up over there. What's going on with the community though, man? Come on in, man. You know, have to get the commercial breaks in early, man. Have to get the commercials breaks in early. I appreciate the gifts. I appreciate the gifts. I'm not worried about being a winner, you know, but I do appreciate the gifts. What's going on with y'all, man? Come on in and have a seat, man. Come on in and have a seat, man. Let's really get into some shit, man. Let's really get into some shit tonight, huh? This is what I wanted to talk about tonight, man. This is what, hold on, we got a caller. Let's take the call. Ladies and gentlemen, how about it? What's going on? Miss Rose, come on up. Do you have any questions and concerns on your membrane? Or did you accidentally push the request button? Miss Rose, are you there? Ah, damn. Miss Rose, are you there? Okay, Miss Rose is not with us. It's okay. We'll let her go. Miss Rose. Is the audio good? Is the audio good for y'all or what? Can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check. Let me know something. Come on in. Like I said, if you ever want to come up, let me know. Hit the invite. Appreciate that. And you already know, today is the game, you know, Grassroots Wednesday. The Grassroots Wednesday. And what we left off at last week, because, you know, we talk about how the stereotype and the stigma got so strong within the pimp and hoe community towards the society world, right? So we talked about the books, right? The first book from what's his name? I always forget his name because I always want to say Fillmore Slim, but it's not Fillmore Slim, right? It's the other one, the one with the pimp book. The one with the trick baby book. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's going to come to me in a minute, right? Well, we started with that gentleman. We shared his story on how, you know, he came into Iceberg Slim. Thank you, RG. Thank you. Iceberg Slim, how he came into the game, writing the book, trying to be, you know, a memorial story or an autobiography story, right? To where he was basically trying to showcase his life. And within trying to showcase his life through a book, people read that book and got intrigued to start making their other books, right? So that's when we got a lot of the early urban books out there that was really emphasizing on putting, you know, stereotypes to enhance the sales for those books. And within doing that, right, within themselves, within being popular within the book sales, movies was created. You get what I'm saying? Movies were created, you know, and you got to understand every generation has its own different type of t-shirt, right? So you have the oral, you know, tradition where it was word of mouth in the beginning, right? You had the lecture tradition generation, right? Where it was all about the books. And now we're here talking about the films, right? The Hollywood movies, right? The black exploitation movies, right? You know, it was a lot of them coming on around, you know, and they was getting very, very popular because a lot of them was coming from being influenced by the books selling so good, right? So, you know, books require imagination, you know, so that's why a lot of people don't read books, because books require you to use your brain to visualize what's going on. As for movies Movies is going to give you the visual, right? So within seeing everything, right? That's why most people can remember the movies over remembering the books. You get what I'm saying? So within knowing that, that's what sharpened society's brain with what they thought was a pimp and what they thought was a hoe within these movies. You get what I'm saying? It was an influence. And then with being an influence, that creates a legacy, right? So the books is going to preserve the story, and the movies is going to preserve what? The image, right? So within the movies preserving the image, you're going to be like, okay, every generation, leaves behind a different form of influence, right? But film expanded that type of legacy, right? It expanded that type of legacy to where now, what I'm saying, it trickles down and down and down to where everybody has their, type of narrative of what they think, this lifestyle is about. So let's get into some of these movies that came out in the 70s. Come on in. Hey, 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 what's going on? Let me make sure I don't miss none of y'all comments. Iceberg Slim, I love that book. He was the blueprint of the streets. The book started the tethering. Right. That's my angle. The book not only started the tethering, the book also started the stereotypes. See, you notice if there was no such thing as the pimp book, how do you know the pimp and hoe would be so mainstream? That's the whole gist of this, right? To where, because of these books, yes, it's a good read. If you're in the subculture, you get an understanding of what he's talking about and you get it, right? But at the same time, there's a bunch of squares that's reading these books. So with them reading their books, they're getting influenced to be more creative, to where now they tether off and make their own books, right? To where they might not be speaking from their own experience. They might be making a book that's all fictional, right? They might make a movie that's all fictional, right? So that's how the angle that I'm going with it at, right? Pimps up, hoes down isn't that bad one. No, none of them, none of them is bad. We can watch all the movies, right? None of them is bad movies unless you're not in the lifestyle. Then because the movies are going to, enhance, because they got to sell, right? They got to sell. So they're not going to be telling the truthful story. No, they're going to enhance what's going on, right? So they're going to make the pimp man very, in fur coats, very glamorous, might be, on some LGBG too much, might be on some gorilla too much. You know what I'm saying? To where now when the audience sees that, they can, put in their mind, they know, what a true gentleman lifestyle is. So some of the books that came out, in the 1970s was, Trick Baby, what I'm saying, Superfly, The Mac, Coffee, Willie Dynamite, Truck Tucker, Dynamite, just the original, the comedy. I don't really think that's too much of it, even though he had nothing but prostitutes around him, right? Those are some of the books that came out in the 70s. And the one that, we already kind of, before I got organized with the days that I go live, I kind of already touched on, the Mac and Willie Dynamite, right? To where those were the two core type of movies that really, impacted the audience and really was trying to get people, for one, trying to tether off their lifestyle, or for two, think they know something. When they watch this movie, they're thinking they're learning something, right? Okay, we got a caller. Miss Dollface, did you want to come up? What's going on? What's on your mind, Miss Dollface? Talk to me.
I can honestly say that a lot of those movies allow people to get a real negative perspective on like what the P is and what his job is. Even when I'm working and I'm out and I see like like the things that people say and like their views towards it, and it sounds like some shit out of a movie, and it just
Right.
make me think like that's not how it goes.
Right.
like like that's not it, like a lot of people think that a lot of us women who are in this lifestyle are like trapped, or we're supposed to be like broken down and just don't have anything to our name, or if they believe that we just are just out here and just like we have no life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like we're doing this so that it can be easier. Like my life is actually ultimately better than yours.
Right.
Like it's just it's so crazy what people's perspective is, and a whole lot of time I think it is because how movies and TV shows portray it. Even when you watch like those 90s sitcom, like the other day I was watching the show Girlfriends, and it's so crazy how this lifestyle is depicted in everything that we watch as well. Like I was watching Girlfriends the other day on Netflix. I like to binge watch little shows. And there's a part they all dressed up for Halloween, and it shows that Willie, like the guy friend of the group, he comes in, he's dressed up as a pimp, and he's calling all the bitches like hoes and shit, you know, and it just like it's so crazy how it's, you know, that's how they see it.
Right, right, and I appreciate that. You said you hit some good points. I'm gonna bring you back in a second. You hit some good points because, and this is the birth of it, right? This is the birth of it. The black exploitation movies, right? Black exploitation movies. That is the roots of all of these, and they can just keep tethering off of it to where now you could be the pimp man and say something funny to a female like, "Hey, bitch, get over here," and Hollywood is gonna think that's funny. Ah, ha, ha, that's the pimp character. That's so funny. He's in his pimp character because they created that character through these movies, right? Through these black exploitation movies. And like I said, we touched on the Mac, right? We touched on the Mac, and I appreciate her coming out because it just keeps going on and on and on. And that's why this is the Grassroots Wednesday where we take it back. We're going to the roots of it, right? We started with the books. We've seen how people tethered to the books, and now how Hollywood got a hold of the pimp culture. So we have Goldie, you know, he became the blueprint, you know, of the cinematic pimp. You get what I'm saying? He kind of popularized the fur coats, the canes, the hats, the flash. You get what I'm saying? To where now, you know, the Mac kind of inspired films down the line, right? The Mac inspired music videos down the line, and the hip hop image kind of was inspired by the movie The Mac, you know. And then you got the Willie Dynamite. Prince, what's going on? You got the Willie Dynamite movie, right? To where it took pimping's fashion to another level, right? To where now, you know, they're showing both the glamour and also the consequences. You see, that's why if y'all go check out the Durable Minds Radio over there, why I say, was this movie, Willie Dynamite, you know, a warning to the pimping? Because it actually shows, you know, the pimping on a high horse doing his thing, and then at the end of it, losing everything, but also doing a genuine thing. You know what I'm saying? He's stupid. You know, it was also, he did a last genuine thing to where the lady's face was messed up. He gave his last little dose so she make sure she get her face right, right? So it wasn't just showing the glamour, it was also showing the consequences behind the lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? Then you got the Superfly. Now, Superfly, that movie kind of opened up the door for the Max. Open up the door for the players, you know, the drug dealers. Everybody can be like, oh, I could still feel pimpish even though I'm pushing drugs, even though I'm mixing it to fix it. I could still be a ladies' man. I could still be a charmer. I could still be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? And then also, you know, Superfly, the soundtrack of Superfly, it's one of the most popular type of pimp, you know, music feelings. So it comes from that soundtrack, Superfly, even though Superfly, you know, wasn't even a 16. You know, the first Superfly movie was less of a 16 than the second Superfly movie. You know, the second Superfly movie, that nigga, he was damn near pimping. I don't know. He wasn't, of course, but that's how Hollywood was trying to portray it more, right? Instead of him, you know, I guess he did a little selling drugs. I don't fucking know, right? And then you had like the Dolomites, you know, the Dolomites where he had, you know, Rudy Ray, he had the prostitutes around him, mixing it with the comedy, you know, he was doing his karate and stuff, but he had 304s around him. Dolomite had 304s around him. He wasn't no traditional pimp, but the character became part of the pimp's, image. You know what I'm saying? It became part of the pimp's image. Then you got the movie Trick Baby, which is based on Iceberg Slim's second novel. This one is based on his second novel, to where it connected to Hollywood directly. You know what I'm saying? To where now it's like one of the most, influential writers is associated with the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So it focused more in that movie. It focused more on the conness of what society thinks a pimp is, the con man. Because when Iceberg Slim realized the impact of his books and all of that, I'm guessing this is just going off what time tells and how his documentaries was. He said that Hollywood messed up the image. He was really trying to help people and avoid people from getting in the lifestyle, right? So that's why I guess he tried to speak in reverse psychology and trying to say, like, because I believe he has another book he wrote later after these two called Poison Something. Street Poison. That's what it's called. Street Poison. Basically talking of how negative the pimp mindset is. You get what I'm saying? To where I don't know, man, but that's another thing that he pushed out there to society. To where he had some book called Street Poison. Y'all go look it up. I ain't lying. Then you had like the Truck Turners, and that came out in 74. You had Coffee, to where that kind of birthed the Madams, right? The Madams, where you had Pam Grier. You dig what I'm saying? She over there challenging the 16s. She over there, you feel me, got her little stables and that. To where now that image is going towards the ladies, like, oh, I can be a madam. I could be the female pimp, right? All of these are putting, not only in the black culture, putting in a negative light, right? But also in society, putting in a negative light, right? And that brings me to this article that I wanted to break down and speak to y'all about, right? That brings me to this article that I wanted to speak to y'all about. Let me find it real quick. Right, there we go. The field study of black exploitation, right? The field study of black exploitation films, right? And notice this was published in 1981. 1981, and it says this. The student conducted by high school students used by Dr. Alvin's idea of becoming known as the black exploitation films. The term black exploitation refers to Hollywood exploiting black actors, actresses, and the black culture for profit while always promoting negative stereotypes that harms the black community. So they put it right in the face. I always was like, black exploitation, like a nigga didn't make that one up. Right? But they put it right there in your face, Hollywood was exploiting black actors, actresses, and black culture for a profit. Right? So within them trying to, get a profit out of the black culture, infiltrate the black culture, change the mindsets of the black culture, the square world is looking at this too. The whole society is looking at these movies too, to where now they can create their image too. Not only on the black community, but also the subculture within the black community. Okay, the article continues. According to the studies, these films were created because Hollywood wanted to make more money in the 1960s. Instead of showing the positive image and message that came from the black movement, many of these movies focused on violence, crime, and sexual exploitation and escapism. So notice they're not trying to make these movies, right? So when we hear these movies, yes, we love them because we come from the community, so we understand them, right? But for the audience and the ears that doesn't come from this community, all they're seeing is negative stuff, right? So all they're seeing is violence, right? All they're seeing is escapism. All they're seeing is sexual exploitation. They're not being educated at all, right? Okay, it continues. The students served as both researchers and participants in the study. They concluded that these films often glorify the criminal and street elements of the black community or presented unrealistic, fantasy-like solutions to real social problems. So they're saying, this is in 1981, that these movies are pushing out fantasy-like solutions. Fantasy-like solutions, meaning everybody that's thinking they know what a 16 is at this time and they're learning from the movies, they're getting a fantasy, not the real social problem. In conclusion, they also found that because millions of black people watch these movies, the films had harmful effects on the black community. Yeah, we know that for sure. We know that. The students argued that the movies negatively influence black self-image, family values, religion beliefs, and the educational goals of many black youth. So if they're infecting the black community, just imagine how they're infecting society totality, right? Bears, can you share the link to the article you're reading? Yes. I don't know how to do all that though, but I can share it. All you got to do, this is why I put it up there. It's right there. All you got to do is Google that. The field study of black exploitation, 1981. I'm pretty sure you can find it. That's how I found it. Let me see if I could get the right one for you. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, bro. Let me see. Let me see if I could find it for you, brother. But I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you'll find it. Here we go. Okay, it's from SAG's journal, Abscess. Okay, I'm gonna copy it right here and then I'm gonna DM it to you. I'll DM it to you, Prince. Because I know you on that legalized shit. So I know this is very influential for you. I already know. You got an angle with it, right? You got an angle with it. Now, this is the gentleman, right? This is how the movies look. I wanted to touch on another article, matter of fact, because we want to touch on the Jezebels, right? Because the 304 image been around a long time too. And the 304 image in the movies actually has been around longer than the pimp image, right? And it's the Jezebel image, right? The Jezebel image has been around a long time, right? So I want to touch on this article too. Looking a certain way, right? I want to touch on this article, right? And it's from Jessica M. Williams, and this is more of a later. So notice the correlations from both articles, and notice the large year gap, right? Notice the gap in the years and the correlations, right? So she writes, the Jezebel stereotype did not only appear to mixed race. Oh my God, they keep trying to hold on. Let me fix the screen, bro. I don't know, bro. Let me fix it one time because they be trying to. They be trying to rock the boat, boy. They be trying to rock the boat. All we trying to do is get a little educated. Let me keep it like that and see if it's better. Okay, she read. The Jezebel stereotypes did not only apply to the mixed race, the light-skinned black woman. Any black woman was portrayed as attractive, sexually appealing, or seductive could be cast into that role, into that Jezebel role, right? These stereotypes appeared throughout the history of Motion Picture Production Code, MPPC, and continued into the 1970s, what we're talking about right now, became especially common during the black exploitation era. Many black exploitation films glamorized life in poor black neighborhoods and introduced a new black hero, the pimp. The female counterpart to this character was often the Jezebel. So you notice the Jezebel's been around since the 1920s, right? And then once the 1970s came, right, with these black exploitations movies, The pimp and the Jezebel was counterparties. They connected them, the 304, right? That's the image. And notice, let's keep going. Let me keep going. Because now it says, one of the first and most influential black exploitation films. I don't know if y'all seen this one. I ain't seen this one. Sweet Back's Badass Song. They got they got five S's in badass. So it says Sweet Back's Badass Song came out in 1971. And this movie has been criticized for reducing black women to little more than prostitutes. Never seen that movie. It concludes, even today, the Jezebel stereotypes continue in movies, television, music videos. Black women are still more likely than other women to be portrayed in revealed clothing, shown nude, or filmed in ways that emphasize, damn, they ain't fuck with me, they said not approved, that emphasize their sexuality. As results, the influence of the Jezebel stereotype has continued long after the black exploitation movement, which what we have today is the 304 phase, right? So you can say Hollywood has something to do with the creator of all of these, females that think because they get so much attention, unintentionally they're thinking it's because they're getting so much attention that now they get in that 304 phase, right? Now they get in that 304 phase. And I wanted to touch on them articles and bring it all home because that kind of relates to where we're at today, right? That kind of relates to where we're at today. You know what I'm saying? To where now, and we're going to get into it more, on these Wednesdays. We're going to progress more. I believe we're probably going to get into next Wednesday, we're not going to necessarily talk about the documentaries, but we're going to talk about the true gentlemen of the lifestyle that was in the 70s, right? The Bishops, the Don Juans, the Fillmore Slims. We're going to touch on them because they're around when these movies are at their prime, right? Them gentlemen are around with their movies at their prime. And I want y'all to notice how they start operating once they see these movies come out. You don't think they pulled out the phones? You don't think they pulled out their phones? And now, if it's still up there, because I seen it a long time ago, if they still got their footage up there, we'll play some of it next Wednesday, right? To show y'all how the true gentlemen were living at that time and how they was feeling popularized and they was feeling themselves. They was like, hey, we gotta get the new Rolls Royce. We gotta be Furco up because people know what a pimp is now. See, just the neighborhood knew what the pimping is, but now the whole world knows the pimping, right? So just imagine your little small community knew what time it was with you. You was running your area, right? Everybody, you was popular dude in your area. They dropped these movies. Now you become world popular. And don't be having it your way at that time these movies come out. Where your finances is good, your materials is good, the ladies is good. Oh man, you're not gonna be able to tell one of these niggas nothing. So that's what we're gonna be touching on, next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to briefly touch on this tonight, man. Just so y'all already know, because I'm pretty sure we all understand that, these movies created viewers. You know what I mean? The movies created the viewers. You know what I'm saying? And the movies, right, they remove the imagination now, right? So now they're providing the visuals. And within providing the visuals, now the characters have faces, right? The stories have images, right? And that dialogue has a voice now. You get what I'm saying? So the visuals are easier for consumers. So when they make these movies, the book, everybody don't read books, right? Everybody be like, oh, I ain't got time to read no damn book, right? But if it's in the movie at the theaters, everybody want to watch it, right? So these movies start reaching millions of eyes. As the books wasn't, some books was doing numbers, but the movies did way bigger numbers, right? The movies did way bigger numbers. You get what I'm saying? And that's just what I wanted to touch on tonight, y'all. That's just what I wanted to touch on, to where y'all understand that, you know, the timeline matters, man. You know what I'm saying? To where conversation came first, right? The books, you know what I'm saying? They documented the knowledge, obviously, supposedly, right? The books documented the knowledge, supposedly. And then, like I said, the movies just expanded the audiences, right? And to where now, you know, if you only, want to study the message, right? Then you might miss, the message that's traveling, because you're only studying the message, right? If you only want to study the books, right? You might miss how the movies influence millions, right? You know what I'm saying? You'll miss the foundation of the books provided. If you really do want to read the books, you might get a better understanding, right? Not all of them, because maybe the first one, especially if you have some experience, you know what I mean?
She thought she knew the game, now she playing it away. Took her own route, now she moving day to day. No rules, no guide, she do it how she choosing. But when it get quiet and she all alone, that's a renegade illusion.